Back to our conversations here in studio. We're joined by Father Martin Badenhorst of Order Preachers, and again, Sophie Mokoena, SABC News International editor. We've heard the sentiments being echoed across the continent, across the world. And Sophie, I want to bring you back because I know that Chimangatso Daswa, I mean, we know his martyr story, the recognition that also came through from the late Pope. Tell us a little bit more about that agency that was restored by the Pope himself.
It was a symbol that
Yes.
there are people who have suffered, who deserve better recognition. And when you look at the world at large, it is not only Europe or the Americas or Asia, where you have people with history in terms of being leaders in their own right and the sacrifices they made to ensure that we have a just, equal, and a better world. And therefore, that was a very important event. And it is for that reason, at that time, the deputy president of the country was President Cyril Ramaphosa. And he was there, and you could see thousands and thousands of people from Limpopo who went there, and they understood exactly what he stood for. And when he was killed, it was on the day where de Klerk, the then apartheid regime president, had made an announcement of the unbanning of the liberation organizations and also announcing the release of Mandela. But you had him being a sacrificial lamb on the other hand, because the world is full of trials and tribulations. And the church, when it restored and reminded us post-1994, the role he played and the sacrifice he made as someone who was a leader of faith, but not only faith, also education in that community at a turbulent time in the history of the country, it was an affirmation of no matter how small the area you come from, or yourself, or the region, or the continent, we are all human race.
Yes. Father Martin, picking up on those sentiments from Sophie, he was inclusive and very welcoming. We saw his relationship to the LGBTQI+ community. We also saw him address the sexual abuse allegations that had permeated the Catholic religion as one. I wonder if you could speak to that as well, that church reformation that he also advocated for.
One of the great gifts that Pope Francis had was remaining totally rooted in the tradition, yet opening the interpretation of that tradition to the situation of the world. Once again, this bridge building theme that was such a significant part of his ministry. And his approach to people was from the point of view of their God-given dignity in all circumstances, whether he agreed with them or didn't disagree with them, or didn't agree with them. A major point of that was him receiving Vance on the last day of his life. He had written a letter challenging some of Vance's statements to the American bishops, but still received them when he was frail and weak in his own self. And in the same way, the outreach to the LGBTQIA+ community was from the conviction of the humanity, and let me listen to your story. Let me understand who you are as a person. And then what you do and how you live your life comes into perspective. And then we can deal with that. We don't deal with your acts and say this is wrong or that is right. We deal with your story as a person, your lived experience. And from that we can dialogue. When I understand you, you understand me, then we have a common basis for finding common ground. And that was a hallmark of his relationship throughout his ministry. Yes.
Yes, to be seen, to be heard, and to know that we matter.
Yes.
That's what he acknowledged in
Granting
everyone.
agency to people and not just seeing them as objects. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you to the both of you for joining us at this hour. I know that we continue with our rolling coverage. Father Martin Badenhorst, as well as SABC News International editor Sophie Mokoena, just reflecting on the life and times, the Pope's early life, how he started out, what his legacy encompassed, some of the, key themes of his papacy as well. And we're going to continue to pay homage to him in our live build-up here on the SABC.